Hello, hello, and welcome to another episode of What's Your Ripple, a podcast capturing true tales and stories of how beautiful people like you and me are making positive ripples in the world, changing people's lives forever. Today with me is a beautiful person. Her name is Kellie, and she has a website out there called Limitless Mindset Coaching. And she has an amazing story that we're going to get to hear. So first off, I want to say thank you, listeners, for tuning in to another episode, and you're in for a treat. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you to Kellie.
Hi, hello everyone out there.
Hello, Kellie. And so you have a beautiful story, and I would love for you to share that with the listeners. And if you would, please, if you explain of your past, of what you've been through and what changed and where you are at today and the ripples that you are making.
All right, well, here we go. Are you guys ready? I am going to tell you the story of my hair loss. Yes, that is the
Oh,
topic.
what?
Yes, the topic for today, women with hair loss.
Nice.
Not talked about a lot.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about it now because there are millions of women throughout the world, really, that are losing their hair for different reasons. Now, this could be from genetics, it could be stress, it could be in hormonal imbalances, it could be chemo treatments. There's a variety of ways or reasons why women lose their hair. So let me go ahead and jump into my story. Are
Yes,
you ready?
please. Oh, definitely ready.
All right. So, as I was introduced, I am Kellie, and I'm known as Miss Kellie Michelle on social media, right? And when I was in my late 20s, probably going into my early 30s, I noticed that I started losing my hair. Now, at that time, I had locks, or what some people call dreadlocks. So my cousin was styling my hair, and she noticed that there was a small spot at the top of my head.
Yeah.
Well, we thought, well, maybe it's due to styling, maybe pulling my hair too tight and it's being pulled out or something like that. So I gave it a little bit more time and just paid attention to the spot on the top of my head. And I noticed it was just getting larger. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe it's time to take these locks out. Now, normally people cut locks off, their dreadlocks, they cut them off. Well, I decided to have mine combed out. So
Mhm.
I went through a couple days
Oh my.
of combing out these locks from, my hair, right?
It
I
sounds
didn't,
painful.
it wasn't painful, but it was very
No?
tedious. And I didn't do it. I had a stylist do it for me, right?
Right.
So once that process was done, I saw how thin my hair was. But again, I
Hmm.
had locks combed out. So
Right.
of course I'm like, well, maybe, it's thin from that. That was a harsh thing that I just had done, right? So let me just give my hair some time to breathe, take care of it, nourish it, and let it do its thing and let's see what happens.
Right.
So I continued to do that and I just wore my hair naturally and styled it naturally. But I noticed it just was not coming back and it continued to get thinner and thinner. So
Hmm.
I ended up going to a dermatologist just to say, hey, what's going on here? I don't know,
Right.
what's happening. And at that point, I was actually wearing wigs. I was wearing wigs and I was alternating between putting like hair extensions in my hair to make it look fuller. So the doctor actually looked at my head and he was like, "Oh, I already know what this is. Oh, you
Oh,
have alopecia." And I'm
what?
like, "Huh?" Yeah,
Oh.
alopecia. So he said the form of alopecia I have is what they call is scarring alopecia. And
Hmm.
that is caused by hair products and how you treat your head, right? So basically, from when I was younger, I used to get relaxers to straighten my hair, and a lot of women do who are African American,
Right.
and that was the cause of my hair loss. That and
Really?
the styling practices.
Oh
Now,
man.
course, there wasn't any research back in the 80s and 90s about, these products and chemicals and things they could be potentially do to us, right?
Right.
Nobody knew that these products would cause hair loss or, damage to our scalps and
Right.
things like that. So I was like, okay, but I was still in denial. I was like, okay, I hear what you keep saying,
Uh-huh.
but I'm going to figure out a way to get my hair to grow back.
Right.
I don't care, right? I don't care what he's saying. I'm in denial. Really, I was in denial for a while.
Yeah.
I then proceed to go down this whole rabbit hole of Googling. You know what that's like, right? Whenever
Of
you
course.
think something's wrong, you start Googling and you're like,
Uh-huh.
okay, I think my finger's falling off now, But by the time you finish Googling all this stuff. But I started Googling like natural remedies, things I can do, products I could use, and just started buying stuff, trying it, just all kind of things, right?
Right.
So of course, none of that worked because I have alopecia. In
Right.
my mind, again, I'm still in denial. So now I'm like, it's time for me to maybe look at hair transplants. So I went ahead and went to a consultation to get hair transplants from the
Mm-hmm.
back of my head to, those areas that were thinning or bald.
Right.
So that was another process because I had to keep going back. And the doctor ended up pretty much telling me that I wasn't a good candidate for hair transplants. He pretty much said that if I was to do a hair transplant, it would be a waste of money because
Mm-hmm.
the follicle would just die all over again and come right back out. So
Oh,
basically, my follicles were actually coming out with the hair.
yeah.
So, okay, can't do that. Guess I'm just gonna cover it up. So I
Right.
spent years just covering it up, wigs, head wraps, scarves, whatever, just covering it up.
Right.
Now there came a time where I got a hairstyle, which was what we call a quick weave. And what happens in this process, because I know a lot of people don't know, that the stylist will mold your hair down with the product. So basically it's very like hard. Like think of a gel.
Okay.
Okay. They'll put like a gel solution and it hardens. And
Right.
once it hardens, they take weave and weave glue and they glue the weave in your hair.
Okay.
So that is what I had done.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that wasn't good for me because by the time I was ready to take it out, I was washing my hair to get it out
Mm-hmm.
and my hair was just my natural hair was just coming out with
Oh no.
the hair that I had left. And I'm
Right.
oh my
Oh
gosh,
no.
oh my gosh, right? I'm in panic mode.
Right.
The same day I'm supposed to go get my hair done at the stylist. So I already have an appointment. I'm on my way. I just wanted to get the weave out of my head before I went. I call her in a panic, like, oh my goodness, my hair is falling out. I'm trying to get it out.
Right.
And, I don't know what to do. So she tells me to come in and she gets it out of my head. But by the time she's finished, all of this is completely gone. And I had like a little bit around my,
Oh wow. Oh.
I'm like, okay, what do I do now?
Yeah.
Now, the other part of this is that I was going on a cruise the next day.
Oh no.
Oh,
Oh.
with a group of people on this big cruise, and I was getting my hair done for
For
that
the
cruise.
cruise. And now you're just heartbroken because your hair is falling out.
Yes.
Oh.
So she styled my hair as much as she could to try to
Mm-hmm.
cover it up, right? But she added in extensions and different things. She got creative.
Right.
All it would have taken though was for the wind to blow and somebody would have seen like this bald spot.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't even want to chance it because on a cruise, wind is blowing everywhere. You on a
Right. Right.
cruise?
Right. You didn't cancel your cruise, did you?
No, I did not. No, I
Good.
did.
Good.
I gathered my friends and I cut my hair off. So I have a male friend who's like my best friend.
Yeah.
He scheduled an appointment with his barber. He cleared the shop and he took me in and cut off my hair and I just had a bald head.
Yeah.
But the problem is I wasn't ready for it. It was
No.
like something I had to do instead of something I chose
Wanted
to
to.
do.
Right. Right.
Yeah, so of course I was
Oh,
totally self-conscious,
of
totally
course.
I'm like, I look like a man. I'm ugly. Oh my goodness. Everybody's
Oh,
staring at me. It was just like that the entire trip. Now, I tried to keep it in as much as possible. And
right.
my friends were very, very supportive. They were trying to lift me up, build me up. But, when you feel a certain type of way on the inside,
Oh, for
that's
sure.
it. There's
Oh,
nothing
for
anybody
sure.
can tell you, right?
Right.
Oh, so I continue. I got through the cruise and then I came back home and I kept my head bald just for the summer. Okay, because
Mm-hmm.
I think we went on the cruise in maybe, I think it was a June. So I just left it bald for the rest of the summer just to see how I felt, if I can get used to it. But no, I never got used to it. So I
No.
eventually started wearing wigs again.
Oh, yeah.
And that went on for another couple years
Oh,
until
wow.
I finally got to the point to where I was like, okay, I'm tired. Okay, I'm tired of wearing these wigs. And not only that, I had moved to Arizona. So I was living in Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh,
Now,
my.
if anybody knows, summers in Arizona are beautiful, or they're brutal, excuse me,
Brutal, for sure.
brutally hot.
Uh-huh.
So it's hot. I have this wig on or these
Oh,
different wigs. I'm like, I can't do this anymore.
no. I picture you in Phoenix overheating and finally just ripping it off and going,
Right. At
oh,
least that's what I wanted to do.
right.
So then I decided to take it into my own hands and I got some clippers and I just cut my hair back off. But I didn't cut it to the bald, like it's that low. I just cut it really, really short, almost like a fade, like a man,
Yeah,
would wear.
kind
And
of
then
like
I
this.
bought these, yeah, exactly. And then I bought hair fibers and I would put the hair fibers in the areas that were thin because at
Okay.
that point, hair had, grown back out a little bit before I cut it. So, it
Hmm.
wasn't as bald as it used to be. So I put the hair fibers in and I wore it like that for a while. But even still, I was self-conscious. I still didn't feel like it looked natural. I didn't feel like,
Right.
I thought people still were looking like, is that real? Is it not? It was still all mental. You know how mental can be, right?
Oh, for sure.
It can take a toll on you.
Okay.
So then I did that for a little while, and eventually I was like, okay, it's time. It's just time. I was at a different point in life. I was much more mature. I pretty much had to change my mindset. I
Hmm.
had to build myself up. I had to say, hey, I can't worry about what people say or what they think. And I just went ahead and jumped on it, cut it back off again. And what I did decide to do to help myself, now I'm not saying this is for everybody, but I did get micropigmentation. So that
Okay.
helped me. Now, if you don't know what micropigmentation is,
Yeah.
that is basically, think of it like a tattoo,
Okay.
but pretty much tattoo little spots in your head to make it look like hair follicles.
Okay.
So you see this darkness around my head that kind of,
Yes.
it looks like it's hair, but it's really not. It's really the micropigmentation. So
Okay.
it gives the effect of a bald fade.
Right.
So I was like, well, if I want to be bald, I didn't really want to be slick bald, like didn't have anything. I at least wanted to have the illusion that there was something. And this is what I decided to do. And it made
Okay.
me comfortable enough to decide, hey, this is how I want to look for the rest of my life.
Right. Right.
Now, the moment I made that choice and went through the micropigmentation, I was a whole nother person. My
Beautiful.
outlook had changed. My mindset had changed. And before, when I shaved my hair the first time, I said, everybody is looking at me. They think I'm ugly, yada, 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 yada.
Right.
Well, this time, I was like, I look good. And once I started feeling that way, then my perception of how people looked at me or treated me was different.
Uh-huh.
Nobody was staring at me.
No.
And I'm sure no one was before, but
Right.
nobody was staring at me. Nobody was paying attention to me. I, to this day, get compliments from strangers. They just randomly walk up to me and just say how beautiful I am. I've had a husband and wife come up to me and my spouse at a festival, and the wife was losing her hair, and she thought her husband wasn't going to be attracted to her, but if she cut her hair off. And
Right.
I end up counseling this lady and her husband.
Oh, beautiful. Nice. Oh,
From
wonderful.
from my story, right?
Right.
Like supporting her, building her up, and letting her know it's okay.
Yeah,
You're still going to be beautiful whether you have to cut your
absolutely.
hair off or not.
Right.
So that has led me to where I am today, where I am building women up who are losing their hair and supporting them emotionally and just letting them know this is not the end of the world. And I know society places these beauty standards on us. I know that,
Right.
but it does not have to be your definition of beauty. As
No.
long as you're confident, you go ahead and do whatever you want to do. And that's just what I feel like, women have the choice. If you want to have hair, wear your hair. If you don't. But be
Right.
confident, be bold, and be beautiful with whatever you choose to do.
Absolutely. The beauty comes from within,
Beauty
for
comes
sure.
from within. Yes. Yes.
Indeed. Indeed.
That is my story.
Oh, that is a beautiful story. And you are a beautiful woman, and your smile just it glows.
Thank you.
Yes, and you radiate. So you radiate beauty. So whether you had hair or not, um, you're a beautiful person, and that is definitely a beautiful story. So what are you doing now with that? Now that you've gained that confidence, um, and you wear your head proudly,
Mhm.
and your beauty, what are you doing with that now?
Well, now I am, like I mentioned, I am coaching other women who are facing hair loss.
Excellent.
So women who are experiencing extreme sadness, because there's a lot of emotions
Oh,
that
for sure.
people go through now. I know men go through emotions as well when they lose their hair,
Hmm.
but I can't speak from a man's perspective for
Right.
one. And
Right.
for two, when a man cuts their hair bald, it is now somehow sexy. Like that is, so like it's really not as big of a deal for a man as it is for a woman. But again,
Oh, I
I can
agree.
speak on the behalf of men. But I help women who are just really, really devastated. I mean, there are women who are actually like hiding themselves from society. They don't do any like activities or interact with people because they are so insecure about how they look.
Right.
Some women don't even know what to do when they're experiencing hair loss. I know when I first started experiencing my hair loss, I didn't even know how to buy a wig. There are still women out there who don't know how to buy wigs because think about it. If you've had hair all your life and now all of a sudden it's getting thinner or you're losing it, you don't know what to do because you're used to having your own hair. You don't know how to go buy a wig or
Right.
where to even start, right?
Right.
So yes, supporting women who are experiencing hair loss. If they are having emotional challenges, mental challenges, I am there to build them up. And I do have a 90-day program that we go through where we meet every week for 3 months and we have sessions and we're going through some processes. I'm building them up. I'm getting them together so that when they are done with that 90 days, they are
Yes.
confident and ready to go. So that is
Nice.
my mission. That is my purpose is to support women with hair loss.
Oh, that's beautiful. So if there's a listener out there right now listening to this and suffering from hair loss, a woman who doesn't know what to do and is being inspired by this podcast, what do you recommend she does? I mean, how can she reach out to you?
Well, you can reach out to me through my website. So
Okay.
my website is limitlessmindsetcoach.com. Okay.
Okay.
So you can definitely check out my website. You can also follow me on social media. I'm under Miss Kellie Michelle on social media.
Okay.
So you can just follow me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I'm on all of those things and I'm providing some good information. But if you visit my website, I do have a 90-day journal and it's free. So it's a support journal for women with hair loss. You can just download it and use it to help yourself out, get through the journey, at least for at the beginning of it. Or I also have a directory, a hair loss support directory. So there are a lot of support groups out there for hair loss, and they
Nice.
have different categories. So whatever category of hair loss you may have, it's probably on that directory. We're still adding to it, but I definitely wanted to create that directory so that women can go check out Facebook groups or
Hmm.
organizations that have support groups that can help them.
Oh,
And then
nice.
the other thing I'm doing on July 23rd, yes, July 23rd, I am having a free workshop where I'm talking more about hair loss, the phases women go through, things that can support them, and just dialoguing with other women who have hair loss and trying to support them in any way I can. So those are some ways you can interact with me, and definitely
Excellent.
check out my website.
Excellent. Excellent. That's so wonderful of you to embrace this challenge that you've had and actually turn it into something positive where you're making positive, life-changing ripples in people's lives.
Yes, yes. And it was difficult for me to even share my story for the world to see. So that was a hurdle I had to get over. I understand how hard it is for a woman to start talking about her hair loss. But for me to have to do it for the world to see, it was important for me to do that because I want to make sure women know you're not alone. Okay. Here's my story. Learn
Beautiful.
from it, gain from it, whatever you need. You're not out there by yourself experiencing this.
And you are so kind. I could see you getting a lot of feedback and a lot of people turning to you for help and support. And that's beautiful. And I greatly appreciate what you are doing.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, I'm excited. I love what I do, and I'm looking forward to helping more women.
Well, let's get the word out there as much as possible. Definitely. And your website, I've been on it. It's a great website. And I love the 90-day coaching that you do. It's build build women up in who they are and gaining confidence in who they are for their inner beauty.
Yes, thank you. I'm trying. I'm trying.
You're doing great. The world needs more people just like you.
Thanks.
Well, Kellie, thank you so much for sharing your story with us today. And thank you, listeners, for listening to all of it. And I will have her links in the show notes, of course. And from me to you, I want to say thank you very much, Kellie, for sharing. And everybody that's out there listening, to please remember to pause, love yourself, and be aware of your ripple, because we are all creating ripples in the world, whether it be positive or negative. So let's create positive ones. All right. Well, until next time, y'all take care.
Bye.
Bye.